NBA Straya, basketball, give me the ball, cause I'm gonna dunk it, yeah! TGIF, am I right? That's right, it's Friday, January 23. We've got a long weekend ahead of us. This is NBA Straya. I'm your host, James Clements, here in Larryama Studios. It's a beautiful morning here on the mean streets of Brunswick. I'll tell you what, Squid and I walked the baby Squid to daycare, and it's just glorious. It's like, this is perfect. We saw Briggs across the road. Yeah, it's all going on. Anyway, with that in mind, I got to get out of here to go down the beach. So we're going to do a power rankings episode and do a bunch of awesome listener NAHS and pick and preview the games tomorrow, and that's it. Sound good? Bloody good. Great. We'll also do a little bit of the Aussie player watch that I promised on Wednesday's show. We'll sort of fly through that, see how they're all going, but you know, they're fine. It's going to be all right. We've got some really good NAHS in there too. All the power rankings are, you know, the usual sort of thing. So I reckon we just bloody well get into it, eh? Of course. Episode 1341 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Darcy Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better. Well, you better watch out for the genie bus attack if you're apparently any of the other bus siblings. Woo, boy, did she go and sell that team behind their back, allegedly. Anyway, good stuff, fun times. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's start today's show the way we start every show here at NBA Australia, with a daily... Oh, is it a whip around as a gym? Yes, it's a whip around. We can just start there with that Lakers one. That was a pretty interesting giant article on ESPN about a really sort like it always sort of felt that the Lakers sale. We knew that there had been like rumors kicking around that they had been wanting to sell like a part of the Buss family's stake, cash that in a little bit, but still retain like ownership. And majority ownership, right? And then the actual 10 billion valuation came down and like the offer to buy came through and off they went and they sold. But Baxter Holmes wrote this huge big piece on ESPN about the sale and essentially to like how Mark Walter, the sort of former, he owns the Dodgers, former minority owner of the Lakers, ends up buying the whole shebang. After seemingly, well, and crucially, bought the Lakers, got the agreed upon like sale going, and fired all of the other bosses from their largely, not perhaps ceremonial roles, but roles within the organization. Some of them more ceremonial than others. But the younger guys, Joey and Jesse, they're only like 41, 38. From you know, like the other kick around misses of Jerry Buss. And then the older siblings, you've got Jeannie, who's been running the show for years now. After Dr. Jerry Buss died, the scion of the Buss family. And we've gone through this as well. Like after that all happened, like they tried to kick her out and she responded by basically knifing all of them by getting the younger ones on board. Because with 6 of them, I guess you always need that sort of 4-2 slant. And she had... And then she sort of got it again, and they presented a united front about selling this team this time, right? And then everybody else, bar her, was booted from their roles. And it sort of goes into like all the machinations of, you know, maybe not so much the resignations or the roles, but how the topsy-turvy relationships of the Buss family sort of ended up where they no longer own the Lakers, right? Which they just keep banging on about time and time again. If we had all this money, what would we do? Oh, we'd buy the Lakers, just like their dad would always say. But then once you stared down $10 billion, guess what gets really hard to turn down? generational wealth for years and years and years and years and years. So anyway, go read it. It's very interesting. Baxter Holmes did a pretty good job. It's like one of those classic sort of, I then set the story kind of American journalism pieces, which, I don't know, when it comes, there's like certain beats that you hit and you sort of see it coming, but this was a pretty good ride, so I enjoyed it. Go check that out. So a bit of Lakers drama. I love it. I also love that Jeannie was pissed off at LeBron for coming in as like, a perceived franchise savior and then like didn't kiss the ring when she like drafted his son and all this sort of shit. Guess what? He was the franchise savior because the franchise was absolutely floundering before he came along and they won that 2020 title. As Mickey Mouse as that title is, like they still won it, and he gave them like a sense of showtime once again. And here we are. Now they've been sold for $10 billion. So it's a good read, some funny stuff in there. Go check it out. What it does completely skip over is just the absolute mess that Magic Johnson made. By the way, Lonzo Ball, I mean, just all-time great pick. I mean, just all-time stuff because it's balling season.
It's balling season.
It wasn't balling season, as it turns out. It was going to be Anthony Davis season at some point. Anyway, other little bits and bobs and news. The Golden State Warriors. I enjoyed this. Absolutely spitting bars is Mike Dunleavy Jr. When you make a demand, there needs to be demand. Oh, Mike Dunleavy Jr. talking about Johnny Cumbucket Kuminga. When you make a demand, there needs to be demand. Well, I don't know. I'd probably play the guy to ensure there might be some sort of demand, considering you're paying him $26 million. What are you doing? You fucking morons. They're also like, yeah, we don't think we'll trade Jimmy Butler. We don't think. Yeah, probably not going to trade Jimmy Butler. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Not gonna trade Jimmy Butler. Won the moment de later. Neck minute, traded. And the last little bit, Abu Dhabi, they're going to play more games over there. Hopefully they play more games in Australia, but I reckon the way that the shit show of the Pelicans season has gone this year, Australia might not be getting too many more NBA games in the near fucking future. Just saying. The other good news, though, is that Josh Giddey is back from his hammy injury for the game today against the Wolves. Exciting times. What we are going to do as well next week, so we're going to do power rankings now, and then, NAHS and do the Aussie check round. But what we'll do at the start of next week, as the trade deadline gets within basically 10 days, something like that, we'll sort of just break down a bunch. Maybe not so much what the teams need. We might do that closer to the... Well, actually, we could probably do the team needs first off. And we'll also sort of talk about some of the big names being floated around in the trade chatter out there. Because there's a lot going on. And so much of it is fucking hot air. And just people justifying their jobs. And yeah, it's a bit fucky. But anyway. So, without further ado, should we get into... our Week 14 NBA Power Rankings. Oh, yeah, I reckon we should, Jim. Yeah, you're damn right. Is it Week 13? Yeah, Week 13. What am I saying 14 for? Right. No, it's Week 14. It's Week 14 of the NBA season. I think it's Week 13 of Supercoach. That's why that's in my brain. But it operates on a slightly different timetable. So, let's start at the bottom as we usually do. Number 30 on your NBA Power Rankings. That is a new entry into the bottom spot. The Brooklyn Nets. Oh, but Jim, Brooklyn have been playing good. They played good in December. And it seems to me like the Nets higher-ups went, okay, Jordi Fernandez, you appear to be a really good coach. We will let you be a really good coach for this shitty team for 1 month. Right? Because they have gone into a tailspin that ended with an absolute all-time shit pumping at the hands of their city rival, New York City Knickerbockers of New York City at MSG, where the Knicks posted their largest ever winning score. Winning margin, right? And yeah, it was pretty bad, man. It was pretty bad, wasn't it? Yeah, Jim. 120 to 66. Now, I'm no math magician, but I'm pretty sure that's 54 points. And that is flattering the Nets in the end because they scored 10 points in the fourth quarter and 6 of them came real fucking close to the end of that game, right? To the point, I think, it was like, yeah, there you go. It was 61-120. With 1 minute to go, they scored 5 more points right at the end. Just abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. And I think that's kind of like why they're at the bottom, because it feels like, yes, you got Michael Porter Jr., you've got Cam Thomas, you've got all your rookies, you've got Nick Claxton. It feels like this is just a trade bait team, not an actual fucking team. And the players are sort of playing like that for the minute. It is abysmal. Abysmal, I'll tell you. That was just hot. It's like this tier in our power rankings, it is called punch yourself in the eye bad. It's not quite, it's gouge your eyes out essentially, but this time we're just going to go punches. Like punching yourself in the eye fucking sucks. And like then you can't see anything and then, yeah, that's how bad it is. Brooklyn, welcome to the bottom of the heap. It's just, they're 12 and 30. It was atrocious. 29th in punch yourself in the eye bad tier still, we have the Washington Wizards. The Wizards have lost 7 on the trot as of today. They are currently playing Denver. That will probably get to 8. Who knows, though? You never know. They have currently the worst point differential in the NBA, minus 11.1. And they're just really not good. They're 10 and 32. They're playing that mix of young dudes and no Trae Young. So it's a lot of like Keyshawn George and Bub Carrington and there. Yeah, it's not great. Alexander Sarr, Marvy Baggs is injured. Washington stink. New Orleans are next up at a devastatingly bad 10 and 36. But they don't want to trade anybody. You can't come here. We aren't trading anybody. So earlier this week, they came out and said, in all their amazing wisdom, helmed by the extreme brain genius Joe Dumas, we're not trading anybody. No Zion, no Trey Murphy, no Herb, none of them. We're not trading anybody. Which, from a functional franchise, you would say, okay, maybe they won't trade anybody. But because it's the Pelicans, it's just another ham-fisted attempt of them to go, nah, you'll have to blow us away with a trade offer for any of these guys. And no one fucking believes them because they're the Pelicans and they're run by idiots, right? So this is the rock and the hard place they find themselves between. But the rock is themselves, the hard place is themselves, and they are themselves. And that's what we call a shit sandwich. The Pelicans. Unbelievable. They've only got themselves to blame. Yes, Derek Queen is fine. But wow, they should be trying to absolutely get the absolute most out of a trade for Trey Murphy when you got contenders like fucking desperate for a dude like him. Sell to the absolute highest bidder. You could have a fucking bidding war, but because you're run by idiots, guess what? You're 28th and in the punch yourself in the eye tier in Jim's power rankings. Next up, the Sacramento Fires and Laser Kings. How does Doug Christie still have a job? They're 12 and 33. The Souvlaki King is back. They amazingly have the second worst point differential in the league at minus 10. And they're not trying to tank. Right. All these other teams have got a bunch of young dudes. Like the Pelicans to a degree, yes. They're also just a bit shit. But the Kings are like, no, this is the team that we're going to win with. It's like we've traded De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. It's like, and now you got Russell Westbrook in year 18. And then it should I am German Rondo trying to fight every prick. Yeah, the Kings are absolutely a basket case. And not even the good one by Green Day. Like just a shit show. The next tier, the bad but not fun tier. Now this one's a bit of a kick in the dick for these three teams. It's the Utah Jazz at 26, the Indiana Pacers at 25, and the Milwaukee Bucks at 24. So the Jazz, they're sort of doing the thing where they said they weren't going to do the thing that they're now doing, which is, look, Lowry's sick. I think it's actually quite serious that he is sick. So hopefully he's all right, but still. And then you look at the rest of their team, and they are once again just tanking because their team sucks, right? Cody Williams is just all-time horrible. I've still got like a little modicum of hope, but not much. Keontae George, the roller coaster has been fantastic this year, but Lowry playing games, playing not games, not playing games. Yeah, that's why they're at 26, and they're currently 15 and 29, right? They did win a game the other day. I think I tipped that one as well, wasn't it? Against the Wolves. They beat them 127-122 at home. And they now today play the Spurs. I think I've tipped them again in that one. But that was because Keontae went off his fucking head and dropped 43. It was awesome, right? But they're still so bad. And it's like usually not fun to watch a Jazz game because you're just like, oh, God. If Nurk gets a triple-double, Keontae drops 40. If Lowry's playing, there's potential for fun. But when you watch their games, usually fuck, this is a lot of Kyle Filipowski. Woof. Next up, Indy. Not fun. It's like, look at Siakam. Siakam is a really good NBA player. But very few people have uttered the words, geez, Pascal Siakam is a fun NBA player. I can't wait to go watch Siakam. Yeah, it's not a common turn of phrase, that one. And the Pacers are just dog shit is probably the phrase I would use. They're 10 and 35. They're doing the right thing. The tanking, still beset by injury. You get that. Milwaukee, it's not Algonquin for the good land anymore because, wow, is it not the good land. But Jim, they're at least 18 and 25 and an 11th in the East. But yeah, when you've got the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, coming out and they're going, we are not playing very well. We are playing like dog shit. It is fucking. He is a unhappy camper to the point where he's like, we are playing selfish basketball. We have these selfish players. We have no chemistry. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Is it maybe because you're holding this non-trade request over everyone's fucking heads, Giannis? I would never request a trade. I'm very loyal. Okay. Then fucking say that. They got their asses kicked by OKC. You get that on the big jobs, but yeah, they are no fun. No KPJ really fucking sinks that team as well, which is not a sentence you should be uttering. But they are not fun. 23. This is the next tier. Fun, but bad. Right? I love this tier. I always have the fun but bad tier in these power rankings. There are two teams who are always in this tier as well. One of them is the Charlotte Hornets, who I've banged on about this fucking time and time again. They deserve perfectly to be at 23, I reckon. LaMelo, went 1 of 15 yesterday. 1 of 15, new leader in the clubhouse for amount of shots you've taken in a game. And if you've hit one, he went past Bam Adebayo from 1 of 13 the other day. And I think it was Brandon Spindles-Miller also went 1 of 13. The 0 of 10 is still the best mark for the season from the field. But LaMelo equaled that from 3. Remarkable stuff. Anyway, they are still fun, but they are still very bad. We understand that Connie Nips is really good. Spindles-Miller is really good. LaMelo is just... he's got shit for brains. He does. His basketball IQ is like... right, that's what his basketball IQ is doing at every single moment. It's not good. But it is fun. Because you watch a Charlotte game, he'll do some of the dumbest fucking shit you've ever seen anyone do on a basketball court. But it's usually because he's like, it'll be fun. I'm going to stop doing that laugh. That's fucking weird. He is just dumb as fuck. And it's kind of fun. Yeah. I do love watching Charlotte. I really do. Number 22. Fun but bad. Atlanta. Some of their games are fun. And they are the absolute ultimate team. One of the ultimate teams of I'm going to play up or down to my opponents, right? And they got a really good win against Grizzlies yesterday. They had lost 4 on the trot, so they're still bad. They're 21 and 25, this team. This was meant to be like a top 4 contender in the East. It's all gone to shit. But Jaylen Johnson had, 32 and 15 against the Grizz, just off his head. He's awesome. Dyson's awesome. It'll probably get a little bit better towards the back half of this season. But they are still bad. They are a bit of fun. So are the Grizzlies, who they just beat. They're the next team. They're at number 21. The Memphis Grizzlies, fun but bad because Jar is back, and when Jar is playing, Jar is electric, and so are the Grizz. It's a really fucking simple equation. If Jar's not playing on this team, they're in the bad but not fun tier. Because usually, they used to have that sort of real grit and grind. You could just go, fucking take it away, Desmond Bain and Triple J. Now it's like, take it away, Cedric Coward and Jalen Wells and Vince Williams and Triple J. And it gets a lot less fun. But with Jar out there, it's a lot more fun right now. Good on them. They're fun, but they are still bad. Chicago are fun but bad. They've actually had a nice little run over the last week or two. Geez, Jim, does that correlate with Giddy going out? No, they've gone 5-5 in their last 10. Pump your fucking brakes. Kobe White coming back has obviously thrown this team for a fucking spin. We understand this. He's still been pretty good. The Bulls are 21 and 22. A lot of holes in their team. A lot of holes in their squad. Will they do anything to fix it? Fuck no. They're the Bulls. We don't do shit, they say. We got Giddy for Caruso. We're going to fucking cruise off that for the next couple of years. Absolute, again, maybe not a basket case of a franchise, but a franchise that is just so pig-headed and with its head so firmly shoved up its own ass that it can't see daylight. But they are within QE of 500. 21 and 22, baby. Nothing better. Your Chicago Bulls, 20th. Next up, the lookout tier. I love this one. Dallas, Portland, and the Clippers. 19, 18, and 17, respectively. Look out, Dallas. Why is that, Jim? Well, they just kicked the ever-living fuck out of the Knicks the other day in MSG. Coop-de-loop-doop-doop. Came back and looked pretty good. And suddenly, look out, your Dallas Mavericks are 18 and 26, and they've won 3 on the trot. Look out. They probably ought to be tanking harder, and they kind of are, because they kind of are playing Dwight Powell at center. But look out, Cooper Flagg might be too good. Also, everyone going, oh, they need to trade everybody. I fucking love Najee Marshall and PJ Washington around a rook. You need big, experienced wings in the NBA, right? Oh, but you can get lots back for them, can you? If you can get a fucking king's ransom for one of those two dudes, have at it. I don't know if PJ can actually be traded with his contract, but they building big wings, big veteran wings around a young rookie sort of point forward in Coop the loop doop doop, and whoever they might be able to draft if they do actually tank. I don't know. The AD and Klay Thompson trade to the Golden State Warriors and getting an injured Jimmy Butler. You can keep tanking. It's fine. Send Klay home. But Dallas, look out. There's just a little bit of shit there, and I'm kind of here for it. Next up was obviously Portland. Look out. I fucking love this Portland team so much. They're 22 and 22. They've won 3 on the trot. They keep taking scalps. It's pretty weird. They're not afraid of anybody. They beat the Lakers the other day, 132-116. They beat the Rockets, back-to-back last week. That was really fun. They've beaten the Spurs. They've beaten the Mavs. They've beaten the Celtics. Portland are fucking gnarly. They got by the Kings yesterday, day before. Denny came, it was 2 days ago, I reckon. It was Monday, maybe 3 days ago. Was it 4 days ago? Have they not played for ages? I can't even remember. Anyway, Portland are awesome, 22 and 22. Love what they're doing. And as they sort of get healthier, with Denny coming back as well, they've got Giroux sort of in and out at the moment. Dealing with his injury. They've got Shaden Sharp going off his head. Tamani Kamara. Klingon's now ball, and he had 21 and 17 in that Sacramento game. They're just fun. And then the Clippers are at 17 because look out. Here come the Clippers. They lose Kawhi for a couple of games. Who could have ever foreseen that coming except, I don't know, fucking everybody. They lose that game. The other day, they play the Lakers today, which is really fun, a battle of A. They lose to the Bulls in just chaotic fashion in Chicago. No Kawhi with knee irritation, which probably means he's out for the next 2 years. Going to count his money. which was all legally gotten. But that was what, their third loss in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games. 13-3 in 16 games. Not bloody bad, I'm just saying. So look out, Clippers, dangerous. I don't know if they'll beat the Lakers today, though. Lakers might have a little bit too much between Luka and LeBron and stuff. They might have them, but anyway, good times. So they are in the lookout tier. The bit crook need a trade tier. The Golden State Warriors. What are you going to do? You got to trade Cumbucket or fucking play him and just hope for the best. You've completely fucked this situation, Steve Kerr and co. Oh, but we're smarter than everybody. Are ya? Are ya? Yeah, so smart that you didn't play your super athletic. Yes, he might be a fucking idiot wing who doesn't want to play the right way. But at the same time, you completely fucking tanked his trade value and fucked yourself and fucked Steph Curry, you dummies. Anyway, Jimmy Butler, we don't want to trade him. Why? When he comes back, you'll have a fucking 38-year-old Jimmy Butler coming off an ACL. Awesome. If you can get a bag of chips for him, he's got to go. Anyway, they're just a bit crook and need a trade. Miami, same sort of vibes, right? I think after their sort of like, interesting start to the season, it was, pretty fun run on the offensive end of the ball. It all sort of just got a bit janky on him, didn't it? Tyler Hero, he's out with this rib injury. I don't know if you need Norm Powell and Tyler Hero on the same team. And I kind of just trust Norm Powell at this point. Fuck it. So if you can get a king's ransom for Tyler Hero, I'd be pulling the trigger and saying, fare thee well, bucket hat. And I'd piss him off because it's sort of like they're muffling along. They're 23-21, which is like the most perfect Miami Heat season of the last, I don't know, the Jimmy Butler era, the post-Jimmy Butler era. That's the Miami Heat. That's just what they do. And then the last two, bit crook need a trade. Cleveland. And New York City. The New York City Knickerbockers of New York City. Cleveland, I reckon. I still think there's like a big argument to be made about simply just having decent run without injuries and having Garland back and Mitchell and everybody. But they still, Jaylen Tyson looks good. It's just a little bit on the nose. 25-20 now for Cleveland, and I would honestly be just like, Garland can't stay healthy. We've got Donnie. We've got Jaylen Tyson. I think we might see what we can get for Garland. I kind of think you might have to get to that point now. Just saying. Still, they haven't been too bad. They won 6 of their last 10. That's why I've still got them at 14, right? They're still pretty good. They're still cruising along. They're in 5th in the East. But I'm a bit worried. They're a bit crook. That's why they might need a trade. And same with the Knicks. The Knicks, they're 3rd in the East, Jim. How do you have them there in, 13th overall in your power rankings in the bit crook might need a trade spot? That might be because until they beat the absolute bejesus out of the Brooklyn Nets yesterday, which might be the catalyst that just sets them on the right path. That does happen. Teams go through swoons where it just looks like dog shit. And they turn it around and it's all okay. The Cat thing just feels a bit strange. They might need to just make a little trade on the back end. Yabu and all these sorts of dudes. I still reckon, and we'll talk about this next week, right? In all the trade, much more sort of trade chatter. The Cat stuff feels fucking janky. To a point where you're like, yeah, once the fans go, this fucking guy, it's a bit of a harbinger to, oh shit, territories, right? Because mostly I think if you've got Brunson and Cat on defense, we saw it with the Pacers last year, you can see smart teams attack them. And for all their sort of wing strengths with Bridges and OG and Hart and stuff, the sort of twin pole bits of Cat and Brunson, it's really going to be a kick in the dick if you don't have a defensive mastermind like Tibbs sort of trying to pull this shit all together. So, bit crook might need a trade. Your New York City Knickerbockers of New York City. It might not be a Cat trade, but it might be bringing in somebody in on the bench who isn't Yabu, who I don't know how the fuck that has gone so badly. But they might need just one more sort of veteran head on the bench that can go, boys, just fucking chill out. Stop having so many players-only meetings. The next tier is just good. Good. It's not. This was the fun good tier. Some of these aren't that much fun. Some are more fun than others. We've got Orlando, who they have looked very scrappy of late. They got their ass kicked by Memphis over there in London and beat the shit out of them before that. Now they're down currently 21 points at the half to Charlotte. They might be dropping down after this, I'm just saying. But for the minute, when I did these rankings, they hadn't gotten down 21 points to Charlotte at the half. So anyway, Orlando, so much of their thing comes down to simply, and I fucking bang on about this all the time. So Franz Wagner, hello, he came back in London, well, over there in the Germans, yeah. They sat him against Charlotte with his ankle today, but everything just sort of hinges on them having everybody, right? And Suggs is absolutely critical to all the shit they do. When he's not playing, they're fucked. It shouldn't be this bad, but it just is, right? Anthony Black's been awesome. Desmond Bain's been solid. You got Paolo, who's been underwhelming this year. They are still good, but they're on the, I did think about putting them in the lookout tier because lookout, are they shit? But I hold them in higher esteem than a lot of other folks because I don't want to ping them too much for just the injuries, right? They're down 2 starters currently in Suggs and Wagner. They're still 23-19. They've gone 500 in their last 10 games. They'll be okay if they get the dudes back. They're still good. Next up, you have the Phoenix Suns. They are good, aren't they? They're 27-17. They keep riding Booker and Brooks, and they're just awesome. And it's really hard to understand and explain how they're this good. Like, it's crazy. I did actually think about switching them ahead of the next 2 teams, who are Philly and Minnesota, because Phoenix, 10 games above 500 is absolutely no fucking joke. It's the same record as the Wolves, who have lost 3 on the trot. But last week at the halfway mark, I had the Wolves, I think, up in like 5th. So I've already dropped the Wolves down all the way down to 9 for this one. And Philly, I think I had them a little bit, they've snuck a little bit higher as well because they're sort of they're 23-19. They've gone 500 in their last as well. I've got them over Orlando because they're gooder than Orlando. They're probably not gooder than Phoenix, but they are more fun in my brain. I love watching Maxey and VJ go off their heads. Embiid is still a giant fucking sack of shit. The flopping, the fucking whinging, but he does have these moments where you're like, I remember when he was good. So Philly, I've got them next at, what's that? That's in 10. And Minnesota at 9. Losing to Utah is just almost unforgivable, and that's why they dropped like 4 or 5 spots from the halfway rank marks. Because they've sort of just gotten in this, they lose to the Rockets, they lose to the Spurs, then they lose to the Jazz. All 3 games on the road. And it came after an awesome win against the Spurs. And then losing that Spurs game where Ant-Man and Wemby went absolutely hammer and tongs. The Spurs were great. Wemby was awesome. 55 for Ant-Man. And they couldn't get over the hump. And then dropping that game against the Jazz was such an obvious letdown spot that I was like all over it. But Minnesota at 9. I was hoping for a little bit more. That's a tough 3-game week. Lose all of them. They are still pretty good, though. So they're still in the good tier. So the good tier was Orlando, Phoenix, Philly, and Minnesota. We could probably put Phoenix at the top of the good tier right now. Just saying. The pretty good tier. The pretty good tier.
The Lakers
are at number 8. That's where the Lakers are. In the pretty good tier, they are 26-16. They've won 2 on the trot. They're 5-5 in their last 10. However, you get that on the big jobs, though. But this is also without Reeves. They've beaten the Nuggets. They beat the Raptors pretty convincingly. They're still really good. Luka will be going off his head. You get that. LeBron James still doing shit. It feels like they don't really know what they want to be and what they want to do. But Luka is sort of good enough. LeBron's still good enough that a lot of the time it doesn't matter. So they're in 8. They are in the pretty good tier. Ahead of them, I have Toronto, who obviously lost to them the other day. But Toronto, this has just been like an interesting sort of stretch for them because they lose that They lose to the Clippers, they lose to the Lakers, but then they shit pump the Warriors in Golden State and then turn around and kick the crap out of the Kings. And Toronto are this weird fucking team where, what was it? IQ goes off his head. You're like, this is kind of fun. Toronto have like this weird latent talent base where if it just clicks, they could be a 3 seed, 2 seed. Who knows? Like if Boston sort of take any sort of like step back, if the Knicks can't sort of pull this shit together, Toronto are right on the Knicks' heels. They're like basically behind them on percentage out of the 3 spot right now anyway. So Toronto are good. They're in 7. Number 6 in the pretty good tier, I've got the Boston Celtics behind the Houston Rockets. The Celtics are pretty good. They're pretty good. That Pistons game was awesome. They would have been higher on this list than 6 if Jaylen Brown's shot had have gone in. Just saying. Just saying. Because if they had that Pistons scalp in Detroit, maybe. But still, very, 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 very good. Killed the Pacers. They play the Nets up next. They're laughing. Boston are really good. Settle down, everybody. I'll talk about them again in NAHS, but yes, Boston 6 at the moment. Behind, well, look, it's because like Simon's been really good off the bench. You've got Jaylen Brown playing into a top 5 MVP level. He's been really fucking awesome. They've got just like really good defensive instincts. Derek White, despite not having a great offensive year, is still really good at basketball. They're fine, right? Boston, if they get Tatum back, everyone's like fucking just losing their shit about Tatum. Just everyone chill. 27-16, you're doing fine. Number 5, your Houston Rockets. They've won 3 on the trot now. They needed the 3 wins as well because the week prior to that had not been a good one for Houston. They get killed by the Thunder, but they turn around and beat the Wolves, the Pelicans, and the Spurs. The Spurs win was really, really good. Just too big, too good. It was awesome. Reed Shepherd was fantastic. They played an awesome game, ran over the top of them in the fourth quarter. Held Wemby to 5 of 21 shooting. Houston, and like this is the thing, they can just crank up their defense sometimes. They're like, oh, look out, here's trouble. And this is without big Stephen Adams Brew, who they lost to an ankle injury, and starting Josh Okogie, which, yeah, that is a thing. But they got Dorian Finney-Smith back and all this sort of stuff. The Houston Rockets are awesome. They're in 5th. 26-15, looking unbloody real. The next tier is the really bloody good tier. That's Denver. Because even without Jokic, they have been really bloody good. They lost their last 2 games, however, but they had been winning like really good games. They beat the Mavs, they beat the Bucks, they'd beaten the Celtics, they beat the Sixers, all without Jokic. Then they lose that crazy game to the Hornets, which they just went, nah, it's all right. And then lose to the Lakers, which they blew. And that's why they were, I think, the 2 spot last week. They're now in the 4 spot. Jamal Murray playing off his head is awesome. That helps them a lot. But they're in the 4 spot. Number 3, I've got San Antonio because the Spurs are just terrifying. Terrifying. It's such a great setup. Wemby, Castle, Fox, Harper, Cowden, Johnson, everybody. They just look real fucking dangerous at all sorts of times, right? This is without Devin Vassell playing with his injury, but they lose that game to the Rockets the other day. You get that on the big jobs. It's coming off beating the Bucks, the Wolves, and the Jazz. And the way I do like a lot of these power rankings is, oh yeah, cool. If we drop everything right now and went, who's going to win this one, Jim? Who do you like? And Houston did just beat the Spurs, but the Spurs just have been so fucking good that, I mean, that Wolves game was unreal. Wemby was fantastic. San Antonio number 3 for me in the really bloody good tier. Number 2, the Detroit basketballing Pistons. I wanted to put them in the top tier. I'm not going to lie. Because the top tier are still going to win 70 games and it's just OKC. Detroit, mathematically, could still win 70 games. They're 32-10. They got a 2-game margin there, I'm just saying. They've got 2 games up their sleeve that they can lose the rest of the way. But no, Detroit, look, I love them because it's bad boy Piston shit. Jalen Duren, Cade Cunningham, even with the fucked wrist, they still keep winning. Detroit are awesome. I love them. 32-10. They've won 4 on the trot. They're the number 2 team right now. 2 games behind OKC. That's all they are. 2. They're 32-10. It's insane. Like, you're going to go back to the heyday of like Chauncey Billups. I think it was 04-05 when they started the season this good. It is unreal. I love this Detroit basketball and Pistons team. And then, of course, the Thunder are 37-8. Point differential of plus 13.6. Jesus. It's just ridiculous. And they play, I mean, just a style of basketball that every time you watch them, you're like, oh, that's right. SGA is absolutely off his fucking head. Oh, and so is Chet. And also, even without J-Dub, they're going to kick the fuck out of everybody. They, like, SGA had, 40-11 in that Bucks game? Absolutely absurd gear. And they get 18 from Kenrich Williams off the bench. They get 18 from AJ Mitchell. Milwaukee's just like, oh, well, we've got AJ Green and Ryan Rollins. And yeah, it doesn't matter. OKC fucking killed them. And OKC can still win 70 games. They're 37-8. Will they do it? 70-12's got a nice ring. They could even top that. Nice one. All right, let's take a quick break. There we go. 33-1, all done. All the tiers. I'll run through it quickly again. The punch yourself in the eye bad tier. That is Brooklyn, Washington, New Orleans, and Sacramento. Bad but not fun. That is Utah, Indy, Milwaukee. It's Algonquin, not for the good land. Fun but bad, Charlotte, Atlanta, Memphis, and Chicago. Look out. Dallas, Portland, Clippers. Bit crook. Might need a trade. Golden State, Miami, Cleveland. The New York Knickerbockers of New York City. Good? Question mark. Orlando, Philly, Minnesota, and we're going to move Phoenix into the spot where Minnesota were in 9. Lakers head up the pretty good tier. Well, they're at the bottom of the pretty good tier behind Toronto, Boston, and Houston. Then you've got the really bloody good tier, which is Denver, San Antonio, and the Detroit basketball Pistons. And the are still going to win 70 games tier, which is OKC. There we go. All right, take a quick break. Come back with some NAHS right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
and you're
Straya.
listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, let's do some NAHS, brought to you by Yo. That's right. You can help the show out and buy us a coffee, shout us a beer. All you need to do is go to buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. The link is also in our show description or in our social bios. Basically, you sign up, you can join the membership tier as well. It's basically Patreon, right? Help me just fucking keep doing this, which is awesome, by shouting us a beer once a month or a coffee. Sort of priced in between. Just saying. But anyway, you also join the Dead Set Legends Club. We've got the bands, the teams as bands show that I'm just cutting up at the moment, which will come out hopefully next week for you. But that's exclusive for the Dead Set Legends Club. So if you haven't joined up, go check it out. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. It's real easy. It's our Patreon, right? So go help a brother out. Cheers. Right, let's do some NAHS. Zachy B. These are all listener NAHS as well. Zachy B. Is Jaylen Brown the MVP? He's just been so consistent from a biased Celtics fan, so happy for you to tell me otherwise. Oh. This is the argument that I made about a week ago, right, in our Halfway Mark Awards show about Cade Cunningham. And then I think I ended up having Jaylen Brown maybe second because of that. It's like, if you take away this one player, would your team that is currently really fucking good be absolutely shithouse? I think you take away Cade Cunningham, the Pistons are fucking way worse. You take away Jaylen Brown, the Celtics are fucked. Right, fucked. Like, Denver have actually proven, like, without Jokic, they're still fine because they've still got Jamal, they've still got some other stuff. And the other one is, like, obviously SGA, OKC are fine without him as well. the Lakers have still got LeBron. If you take away Luka, it's okay. Giannis might be the other one where the Bucks just are a fucking, like, the worst team in the NBA without him. But I reckon I'm still going to go with Cade and Jaylen Brown because I think Brown has sort of helped keep them afloat where, to a degree, that is, like, surprising. Like, they're not keeping afloat. They're fucking dominating. They're awesome. And I'd put him in probably, by my reckoning, of this MVP. Is he the best player in the NBA? Look, that's not what the MVP award is in my brain. It is, take away this dude, what does the fucking rest of that team look like? Cade Cunningham is running around out there with, as much as I like Detroit, like it's a lot of Duncan Robinson. Jalen Duren is not out there exactly creating his own shot, right? Cade Cunningham is the straw that stirs that drink, and they're 32-10. So I'd probably still give, like, All-Star Thompson, awesome, right? But it's a collective sort of approach that's driven by Cade, and he's been absolutely fucking unreal this season. So I'd probably just give Cade it over the top of JB. Cade's at 25, 6, and 10 assists a game, 45% from the floor. And Jaylen Brown is, like, putting up his best numbers ever, right? Like, he's been so good that it's, like, crazy. Almost 30 points a game, 6.7 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 48%. Neck and neck. I'd still give it to Cade because they're 32-10. The Celtics have, 27-16, defied all expectations. A lot of it's to do with him, but Cade, he gets it for me. Good one though, Zachy. Don't mind it. IMB, one of my favorite painters out there. I understand why you don't think Jock is an NBA starter. He isn't that big and he isn't athletic. But I think I have to respectfully disagree. He is constantly screening and rolling, posting up and just working hard. If he isn't an NBA center, then neither is Draymond Green. Yeah, look, I understand that approach. I think the starting thing is probably the one I keep leaning on, right? Like, and I think Jock does all the important shit really well. But the sort of physical limitations of his size and athleticism, which then translate into his defensive deficiencies, I want to say. Like, he's not a shit defender, but he's also not a fucking great defender. And I think that's one of those sort of things where, like, as an NBA starter, you kind of, like, does one outweigh the other, right? Like, does your proficiency outweigh your deficiency? Or can you have this in perfect balance? And Jock is really close, I think, to having it in perfect balance. But because you look at Domantas Sabonis, right? That's where your proficiency is up here and your defensive deficiency is down here. Alpi Şengün has got, like, a way better, even probably offensive game. And defensively, he's not that shit, so he's even better as a starter. Like, and it's sort of those sorts of dudes where you look at Jock and you sort of dig into, like, the advanced numbers, and, like, the only thing that sort of you can knock him on is probably the defense. But he fucking tries so hard, and it's like the help defense, the sort of knowing where he's meant to go, having a decent basketball IQ, but not being a rim protecting, shot blocking sort of guy, not having, like, the length and speed to really fucking cause lots of havoc on the perimeter. That's the sort of thing where you go, he's a good spot starter and he's definitely an NBA center. Jock Landale absolutely deserves to be in the NBA for a really fucking long time now because he's gotten that much better in the last 18 months that it's crazy. He's proven himself time and time and time again. But as a long-term starter, like, if you just sort of think about, even you go back to, like, Luke Longley. Luke was fucking massive. Just the sheer size of the bastard, right? Whereas Jock's offensive game is probably a lot more mature, a lot more varied, and defensively, like, just not having that sheer behemoth-y sort of size on his side probably hurts him. But he definitely belongs in the NBA for a really fucking long time. So I can't argue with that. And I love that IMB's like, yeah, all the fucking other shit that he does, the screening, the rolling, the posting up, the working hard, that is so fucking valuable. And that's exactly what you need from your players in the NBA for them to be successful and for your team to be successful. But you sort of think about what Draymond does for the Warriors, and that's like, you know, offensively a bit of a shit show. And again, this is the proficiency, deficiency. His proficiency on offense, like playmaking, all this sort of shit. The defensive stuff, awesome as well. He's got these fucking crazy long arms. It's a bit tricky. And then you sort of look at some of the other guys who are out there, like Edey, Klingon, like that sort of newer breed of big young center. They are all so fucking huge. So, yeah, it's a good one though. Thank you, IMB. Dan D. I'm convinced MPJ would be awful for the Pistons. Basketball-wise, maybe a great fit, but MPJ would be a culture killer. Pistons are ahead of schedule because everyone is bought in and Cade is him. I'm convinced Tobias must be a cool dude. Players in office, front office love to hang around with him. How else does his ability to earn a big contract make sense? So, do you want the bloke like Tobias who may not quite have the on-court production but is a glue guy, or the bloke who's excelling in a shit team with a green light to play hero ball and not worry about wins and has a history of being a fuckhead and not invited to play a dinner? It's still my favorite thing ever. Yeah, nah. The MPJ Detroit thing is fascinating because I can absolutely see where Dan D is coming from, and like having to like looking at Detroit and go, right, does this team have what it takes already to just fucking go through the East and actually challenge OKC or San Antonio or Denver or Houston or whoever the fuck comes out of the West? Could they win the title as presently constructed? Maybe. Could they raise their ceiling and give themselves a better chance? That's going to be the big question. And I sort of think I talked about this the other day, right? About MPJ probably helps with the shot making, a little bit of the shot creating as well, outside of just Cade. But Dan D's got a really good point about having a giant fuckhead on your team that no one likes. And I'm going to have to side with Dan D, I reckon, because that culture is such a big fucking point of what Detroit are doing that as soon as you let like a dumb fuck in, it could go real sideways real fucking quick, right? So, yeah, I'd agree with that. He also said, proposed trade idea articles are the worst. 100%. I fucking hate all of them. They're all so shit, so dumb. It always comes with like some weird angle of like not understanding how it might impact one of the teams, and it's always slanted in one of the team's favor. It's just fucking stupid. So, anyway, Michael Porter Jr., would you do it to Detroit? I don't know. I don't think I would if I'm Detroit. I think as I said the other day, you probably just want like a gun bench scorer just to juice that offense a little bit when needed. Whether or not, you know, Karras, my sweet baby Karras, in an ideal world, he is like, you know, solid on both ends kind of bench unit guy. Or do you want a guy who can come in and just like, today I got hot and scored 40, like Cam Thomas? I don't know. But Michael Porter Jr., look, I think you put aside the fuckheaded side of things, I think he would be ideal for the Pistons, but it's that one step too far. One other idea is like maybe someone like RJ Barrett, where it feels like Toronto have hit this point where between Ingram, Scoob, IQ, all these dudes, there's almost like somebody's going to get squeezed out, and it might be RJ. And it feels like RJ Barrett almost sort of fits what the Pistons need a little bit better than anything else. So he seems like a good dude. Maybe RJ Barrett in place of that. Would Toronto bite at that, though, against the team that they're chasing? Probably not. He also, I think Dan D also then went on, what about Cat for Detroit? Karl Anthony Towns for Tobias, Ivy, whatever else you can throw at him. It's not a bad one because I think it does, again, help raise your ceiling in terms of like having a scoring big man that you can play next to Jaylen Duren, because that's what Cat's always done, you know, next to Rudy, sometimes next to Mitch Robinson when he does play. I don't mind that one as much. But again, would the Knicks trade him to Detroit? Oh, probably not. Probably not. I think they needed a bigger name to replace Cat than Tobias Harris and Jaden Ivey and a couple of other bits and bobs. Jez Oz has got a couple of yeah-nahs. Hey, Chief, hope you're well. Got 3 yeah-nahs and a response/comment/opinion for you. All right. Number 1. Jimmy Butler is wildly overrated. Yeah, nah. For all the antics and carry-on from the man himself, he is wildly underperformed considering the esteem he is held to. Yeah, nah. he did drag a very flawed Miami team to 2 finals. One was like at the expense of like a falling apart Boston and Philly teams and stuff like that, right? He is, I'd still say he's overrated. I don't know about wildly overrated. I think it was much more overrated when we were talking about the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes because we saw what sort of happened, right? He got to Golden State. It's like the sweepstakes should have been taking place like a million years ago because when you're that age, shit just goes fucking sideways. And yes, the Warriors looked really, really good while he was there and playing with Steph, with Draymond. But because your fucking margin for error is so small at their combined ages, yeah, something was probably bound to go wrong, and it did. So it's a bit shithouse. He, in terms of wildly overrated, maybe not so much wildly overrated, but I still think generally overrated because I think if he had have stayed in Philly, they probably, everything changes there. Who knows what the fuck happens with Ben Simmons. They hated each other, as I said, but he was still out there putting up a 25-5, basically, 26-5, and sort of just causing all sorts of havoc, causing just little bits of grief here and there. Solid, but yeah, not a super duper star anymore. But that's because he's so fucking old. But anyway, there is a lot of antics. There's a bit of carry on. I kind of just wish he'd been in Golden State for a bit longer, maybe. Anyway, number 2, the Spurs team is a blueprint of the Tim Duncan era Spurs with 2 absolute stars, Wemby and Castle, and then a whole lot of players who could have much better stat lines than other teams, but see what they can be if they play their role and they're quietly extremely well coached. Yeah. They really are. Like Wemby and Castle is like your sort of Duncan and Parker, or even your Duncan Ginobili, depending on how you sort of land. But then you've got Fox and you've got Harper. So yeah, it feels just like the fucking old Redux Spurs, doesn't it? I don't know, like if you've got a Kawhi in this spot, but maybe Kawhi next to Tim Duncan, if that's your Castle. But yeah, it's a really good shout that they feel just like they've just gone, we'll do that again. Generational big man, sick. Awesome guard, radical. Let's fucking go. Jerks. It's a good shout. Why don't you, Jez? Last one. Giannis will not be a Milwaukee Buck on opening night of season 26-27. Yeah, nah, he's not going to be a Buck anymore. The offseason will be him fucking not requesting a trade and then getting traded because he doesn't sign an extension. I don't know where he'll go at this point, but yeah, I don't think he'll be a Buck next year. And then he adds on, and just building on your point from one of last week's shows, read journalists willing trades like the Ja Morant trade to happen is spot on. The worst part is these wannabe sports writers with pages like Box Score and Bleacher Report whose insiders probably work at their town's equivalent of BRI and just post dumb shit to get morons to comment, brackets guilty, to build their profile and fuck people's algorithms. Yeah, I really don't like he's got to be traded. It's like, does he? There's no measured approach to any of this shit. Yes, I fucking yell and carry on and whatever, but I don't know. Like, I'm not saying, you got to trade Ja Morant. It's like, all right, cool. Go explain that to like a fucking 8-year-old in Memphis. Go on, say that to their fucking face. See what happens. They'll go get one of Ja Morant's fucking mates and beat the shit out of you. Anyway, it's a good call. Thank you, Jez. Unpopular opinion of the day.
Now look at me, please. Look at me.
I still wouldn't trade AD if I'm Dallas. I'll talk about that next week, but yeah, it's not great. Let's do Australian player watch, shall we? And check up on what all the Aussies have been up to in the last little bit, because we haven't done it for a little while with these daily shows. All right, so with some of these Aussies, you look at someone like Dyson in the last few weeks. He's been really, really good. He had that triple-double, the start of January. And then sort of since then, he nearly ripped off that other triple-double against Milwaukee, the 17, 9, and 10. He had 3, 7, and 8. He went 1 of 9 against the Grizzlies in that crazy win the other day. But still 11, 6, and 6 for the season and averaging a very, very solid 2 steals a game, which is pretty bloody good, obviously. Not quite the crazy heights of last year, but still very, very, very solid. Rock'em, sock'em, block'em, jock'em, Landale's averaging 11.3 points a game, 6.4 rebounds, and 1.7 assists. But Jim, how many minutes is he? He's only playing 22 minutes a game. on average. And then for the last little bit here and there, he had 21 and 8 over there in London against Orlando. Kicked the shit out of him. Backs it up with a 13 and 11 in that game against Dyson with 3 assists as well. Just really, really solid stuff. And with Edie sort of out for a little bit, sort of throughout December and into January, he's averaged like, what, a 10 and a 6 and then a 12 and an 8. A 12 and an 8 for January. That's really bloody good. Obviously, no Josh Giddey. He's been out for a few weeks. How about Jingling Joe Ingles? How about him, Jim? Well, he actually got out there about a week and a half ago against Milwaukee. He played 8 minutes because they absolutely killed them by like 40 points. He didn't score though, but he did score a few days before that. He had 5 points and 3 assists against Cleveland, which you love to see. Speaking of Cleveland, no Luke Travers for a little bit, crushing it in the G League though. Tyrese Proctor, however, had 13, 2 and 1 against Philly the other day, which was really good, and they kind of need him to be throwing those sorts of numbers up off the bench because they won that game by 2. He was massive, 3 of 5 from deep. He had 3 and 1 against OKC. He had 3 and 2 against Charlotte. As well. But Proctor's doing a really good job off the bench, I think, for the Cavs, especially with Lonzo sort of in and out. It's an ideal spot for him too, right? Because he doesn't have to play every game. He doesn't have to play every second game. It's just sort of when Lonzo's not there, he can step up and do his thing. Josh Green hasn't been too bad as well in his little role there in Charlotte. Still reckon free Josh Green, but he had 7 and 9 against the Cavs the other day with a couple of assists, 3 and 3 as well. Free for free against Denver. How's he going in this game against Orlando right now, though? Let's have a look. Is he crushing it, Jim? Is he crushing it? He's got 6 points already. Not bad. He's hit 2 threes. That's good. What else? We've got a bit of doo-up, bub, doo-up. Doo-up Wreath out there in Portland. Averaging a 2.9 point, 1.2 rebound stat line for the year. He had 5 and 5 against the Lakers the other day, though, in 13 minutes. In 12 minutes against the Kangs, he had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 0 and 2 from deep. Yeah, it'd be nicer if he was a little bit more consistent. Lockie Olbricht's also been playing a little bit too for the Bulls, for the simple fact that they sort of have been dealing with like a bunch of weird injuries and shit like that. So he got out there for 1 rebound, 1 assist in the last 2 games. And then in actually his last 3 games, that's been his stat line the entire time. In 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and 3 minutes, he's gone for 1 rebound and 1 assist in all of them. So that's good. Way to go, Lockie. But back 2 weeks ago in Detroit, he played 16 minutes. He had 5 rebounds and 2 points. Not bloody bad. But Johnny Furphy is probably the one that has been crushing in as much as like he's been giving an opportunity to crush, right? So he's averaging 5 and 4 for the season, but he just had 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists against Boston the other day. He had 10 and 10 against Toronto. He had 10 and 7 against Miami. He's playing lots, and that matters. He's shooting 43% from 3 for January. He's averaging a 6 and 6. Oh, mate, tins going off his head. You love to bloody see it. And there you go. That's all the Australian Player Watch for you. How about a quick pick and preview for tomorrow's games? All right, let's do some game previews. Game previews. Thanks, Invert and Bain. Not a problem, Jim. Excited to go down the beach again? Yes. Speaking of which, we won't do a show early Monday. We might do it once I get back on Monday night and set you up for Tuesday and stuff like that. If we don't do that, we'll do it Tuesday morning. Just a heads up. Maybe Tuesday morning, actually. Ooh, it might be later on Tuesday. Ooh, this is going to be tricky. Got to figure out my timing. Anyway, big weekend ahead, big long weekend, so I hope you're watching lots of hoops. You can follow all of our picks over at Dabble. Use the code NBA Straya. You can find the link in our show description or in our social bios as well. You can see all the picks up there. Houston at Detroit. That is a great game. Absolutely awesome. Houston are playing Philly right now. It's a close game, so I might go Detroit in that one. They'll be a little bit rested. They'll be at home. They're not afraid of Houston's physicality. You got the Thompson twins going at each other. We'll go to the Pistons. Phoenix at Atlanta. That is a fascinating game as well. The Suns are 3.5-point favorites on the road in Atlanta, who just got by Memphis the other day. I might even stick with Atlanta plus 3.5 in that one. Might just sort of piece together enough offense to keep up with Phoenix. Let's go. Boston at Brooklyn. Brooklyn are going to get killed. We're going Boston minus 8.5. Boston just smash-marated Indy the other day by 15. Brooklyn are horrible. Let's go Boston. Sacramento at Cleveland. We're going to go the Cavs minus 12.5. Fires the laser because we are bad. Memphis hosting New Orleans. That's a kind of fun one too. Grizzlies minus 4.5. I think we'll go the Grizzlies. Indy at OKC. Oh, it's a finals rematch. Womp, womp, womp. The Thunder are 16.5 point favorites. 16.5 points. And I'm probably still going to go OKC. Denver at Milwaukee. That is a really interesting one. Denver are playing today against Washington. I might go the Bucks. Bounce back game. Let's go Milwaukee. And then Toronto, Portland. Blazers playing today. We might go the Raptors sneakily against Portland, who are really good against West teams, but keep losing at home to these Eastern teams. So I might go the Raptors. Yeah? Good. All right, that's it. I got to get out of here, pack the car, head down the coast, hang out there. So as I said, we might have a really late Monday show because we've got NFL playoffs first thing Monday. We're going to drive back at some point. So I might do one Monday night once we sort of get settled. Because I got the Squid all day Tuesday out and about. So we'll see how we go. But next show should be Monday. But otherwise, you can follow us across all the socials as per usual. Facey, Twitter, IG, TikTok, YouTube. It's all there. Go check it all out. NFL Straya with myself and Gaz is always a hoot. The Pats are in the AFC title game. I'm shit scared of this Denver team without their fucking starting QB. I hate it. God, I hate it. But anyway, go Pats! And the other one is Jim Does Supercoach. We'll be doing that, hopefully. So I reckon I'll get home Monday and try to do both those shows on Monday. So we do a quick Supercoach wrap-up and set-up show, and it's really fun. Love doing Supercoach, especially when it comes to NBA. So rate, review, star, subscribe across all of your podcast apps for all of our shows. Big thanks always go to From Ozo for the intro and outro song, as well as House Hats, Joshua Delarentis, Fascinated Gold Mines, Ramshack Alarmy, Iowa, Sextrated Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show. Smash them on your music streaming platform of choice. But that's it. Nothing at the end of this one because I've got to get out of here. So we will catch you next week. Have a great long weekend, and we'll catch you next week, you dickheads. It's NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And